Hey orchid peeps, welcome to LPLR Orchids and thanks for checking in. We'll take a quick swing through the living room, through the orchid garden now that fall is setting in. Quick chat about fall chores and things to do with your orchids, especially if maybe you grow some orchids outside like we're trying to do. First up, this guy, Brasidium Shooting Stars, black gold. Yeah. Last year it had more blooms than it does this year. It only has 6 flowers open. But hey, we're happy that it's bloomed 2 years in a row. We've taken some cuttings off of this guy. And we really had no idea what to do with it. It was a free plant to us, like an extra bonus on an order we made a few years ago. So really happy to see it back. This year it did bloom much better than last year. Last year the lips were half of them were like chewed by something, or they just didn't form correctly. But this year it's all bloomed very nicely. So yeah, we water this plant just like all of our Phalaenopsis. We water it once a week. We moved it back inside, so we did grow this plant outside, like in a shady spot outside. We barely watered it over the summer when it was outside, so it just got whatever rain it got and whatever sun. And yeah, we moved it around a few times, but really nice, easy plant to grow. Blooms really nicely. Pretty happy this year that guy right there, this slipper orchid, Spicerianum. Now got 2 flowers on it, although you can see the one on the right, we did try pollinating, so that one is now fading, although I'm not sure it's a good attempt because that was like 3 weeks ago. And this is our first Paphiopedilum that we've had 2 fans bloom at the same time. I really like these flowers. I mean, you can see the really intricate shape there. Nice coloration. The unique feature about this guy, the Spicerianum, is this white dorsal sepal. And so that makes it unique, so the white hood. Kind of a unique trait amongst the Paphiopedilums and kind of the shining characteristic of this one in particular. Plant overall is nice and healthy. It's got a couple new growths coming on it there. And yes, we do grow this one in semi-hydroponics. Get around there. So it's in an old soda bottle. It's been grown that way for now 3 years or so. Seems pretty happy, all in all, so very happy with that. I may take the pollen or try pollinating this second flower. I don't know, we'll see. Unzip the cabinet. Basically a south-southeast facing window, or sorry, east-southeast. So basically, yeah, over in this direction here is south. So yeah, we get a lot of nice light here, morning light. Comes up over these buildings there. And then we also did buy a couple little cabinets early this year. They were pretty cheap. They came from Ukraine. They have nice integrated lights. And so we do grow most of our Phalaenopsis seedlings and some Paphiopedilums. But now we've brought in some plants. Now that it's getting really cold out, like, so it's, let me pull that up. So now it's getting down to like 7, 8, even colder sometimes at night, 5 degrees Celsius, which is down in the 40s. So I wanted to bring in all the Cattleyas and Catasetums. So we'll kind of just briefly go through those and look how they're doing. We did grow them outside, but we tried to grow them in somewhat shady locations, at least for the Cattleyas. The Catasetums had more drastic treatment. Anyway, so this one's like a no ID. We don't know what it is. We bought it years ago, chopped it. Its sister plant is growing at our school. We showed it. Both of them are kind of developing something down in there. There's a little bit of a shadow starting, so you can see that they're, hopefully it will bloom and develop. They're right under like a single LED bar. And this one around so you can see its label. Well, you can't see the label. It's an amazing Thailand rainbow. Some new growths coming on this year, looking really nice in the late summer. These two, yeah, this big one right up in front. Pretty happy with the growth on this guy, although it has not bloomed for us yet. We'll see if maybe next year it will bloom. Hopefully, we'll see. And our last Cattleya, the other couple RLC or Cattleyas we have at school, but this one is the golf green hair pig. This is probably the one I'm most excited about, and I have a thing for white, green, brown flowers, and this one is white and green with crazy hairs. Supposedly, all the hybrids look amazing that I see online. Again, we have not bloomed this plant. We repotted it into this clay pot. Right now, we're watering all of our Cattleyas once a week with our Phalaenopsis, now that they're inside. And yeah, it's also growing some nice new growths, as you can see there, so it seems pretty happy. Again, it was also grown outside this summer in a more or less shady location under a table. Those are the Cattleya types that we have, RLC hybrids, still left at the house. So small collection. We've only bloomed a couple. Hopefully we have better luck now that they've been outside for a summer. And then inside of the cabinet as well, we have most of our Catasetums. And we only have a few Catasetums, in total now 6 in our collection. One little cutting that we took this spring is at school, and it's a pretty small little bulb with only a couple leaves, but it's alive, so I'm happy about that. And we showed that last week in our school vid. A few of the black pearls, FDK, After Dark Black Pearls. It's these guys, and we grow 2 of them in semi-hydroponics. The other one's back here, one of our hybrids. This is the Portuguese star crossed with Lucis. Now, a quick note on bringing the plants back inside. We washed the crap out of them. Any plant that was outside, we brought in during the night times on really cold nights and take them back out during the day. We keep them quarantined and separated from our regular plants during that process. But then at like the end, we really washed them. So some of them, I just in the morning, like one at a time, as I transition them inside permanently, I will take them into the shower with me. I know this sounds silly, but I will literally take one into the shower with me. And as I'm showering, the soap all goes down and gets all over. And then I put soap in my hand and like lather it and get the water and let the soap all just go down crazy and into everything, and then I wash it down with really nice warm to hot water. I know this sounds like probably not what you should do, but this is what I do for a lot of these guys. And then of course in the shower I'll like pull these leaves down gently, not breaking them, but just pull them and try to wash out anything that, I mean, it's actually pretty difficult. I don't go crazy, but just use the water to kind of wash out stuff. And this is where you really got to watch for bugs and pests down in these leaf margins, when you bring it in. But I will do this washing process several times, just with soap. And then I will fill the water reservoirs completely in a bucket so there's water up to the bottom. And any bugs that are down inside, like little roly-polies or snails or mites, things that can't really tolerate the water, they, of course, climb up to the top seeking refuge. And that's where you can really see where the bugs are and what's coming out. And so once we wash them really well, of course, then I take paper towel and just not scrub, but really kind of vigorously try to get any, like maybe stuck on eggs or, bugs from the thing, not damaging the leaves, and trying not to like remove any cuticles or waxy stuff. But yeah, I give them a really good brushing. And I repeat that process several times, 2 to 3 times for each plant over the course of several weeks. So that's kind of our process for bringing these plants back in. It's a lot of work, but they seem to have responded really well. Like the Catasetums, the bulbs at the first seemed like they were going to be smaller, but now that they've kind of gone into late summer, early fall, fall now, it's October. But now that they're going into fall, the bulbs are fattening up. They're starting to show their true length. And so I'm actually happy with the growth, even though we still don't see any bloom. That's the crap side. So, the one thing, I'll show you one positive or negative. I don't know what it is. And I would appreciate, again, any comments on what you guys think. So now there's a growth. I don't know if that is a spike. To me, that looks like the start of a new growth, which I don't like because this plant should be going into dormancy. I don't know. The Catasetums, if you don't know, they have a kind of strict dormant period where you really don't want to water them if possible. Well, for most of them, not all, of course, but for most of them, they have like this period for us, we don't water from December through May, basically. So for 5 months, we don't give them any water. We've been trying to keep them in nice bright light, and that seems like doing well. We try to keep the temperatures up as much as possible through the winter, and they come back and they bloom. They start growing new pseudobulbs every year, and then they go into dormancy, drop all their leaves, and stay dry for 5 months. They repeat this, and they do really well for us growing, but we've never had one bloom, and I'm hopeful that's a spike. Fingers crossed. You never know. Anyways, we did find a snail. So even after tons of washing and inspecting all the time, just last week we found a snail. So when we wash, I should mention this, right? And I think it was on this plant. You can tell this is totally like snail damage here and slug damage. Just eating these leaves, like just stripping them, and then eventually they're nothing. And I believe it was actually on this plant where we pulled down the leaf when we were watering last week. I always try to pull them down and look inside for mealy bugs, and sure enough, found a snail down in it. And what are you gonna do, right? So we keep watching. I know I shouldn't have it growing next to all these other plants, but I don't know what else to do. You just keep watching for bugs. Can't get rid of them completely. Although right next to it, we have an amabilis. So ironically, we're growing this Phalaenopsis seedling, like right next to where we're growing these. Now, most of maybe the growers in the know and the more experienced growers will be like, dude, you're growing Catasetums next to Phalaenopsis seedlings. Like, something's not right here, generally speaking, I think. And yeah, I probably am erring on the side of these Catasetums are not getting enough of the light and temperatures that they need. And perhaps this seedling is getting more than it needs, but it's looking really good. It's a Phalaenopsis amabilis. The cultivar is called Snowflake, and we've grown this plant from a seedling. It's basically always grown here on the middle shelf. Well, always grown here. No, since we've moved to this apartment and gotten this cabinet thing, it's always grown here. So it's looking happy. So I'm thinking these guys probably aren't getting enough. And that's probably why they're not blooming. Not to mention the fertilizer. The last Catasetum that we have at the house, it lives in the bedroom right now in quarantine. But I brought it out here just to show you real quick. So it's the macroglossum. Catasetum macroglossum species Catasetum. And yeah, it's only in quarantine because we just are in the process, it's still in the process of moving back in and washing. And we left it outside. We took the others in first, even with 6, plants or so. It's a lot, well, more, only with 6 Catasetums. It's a lot to kind of wash and really thoroughly keep an eye on and check for bugs, and we don't have a lot of room inside. Anyway, we moved the others in first. This one stayed outside simply because, well, let me show you. But something chewed into it. It's completely hollow up inside. I can't show it. Up inside is completely hollow for probably an inch or so. And I assume that we will lose this this pseudobulb. I'm pretty sure that one will probably just end up fading off and rotting out or dying, but maybe not. Maybe it'll hang on. It's, of course, not blooming for us, and it got pretty chewed by bugs, and it has some, like, fungus bacterial spots or whatever these are. I don't even, these leaves fall off. So it's like, whatever, they get attacked by a bunch of crap, which is why you really got to watch them. And you don't want to bring them back into your collection so easily because they just attract everything. Like, everything loves these. Keep an eye on it. Like, it's so hard to tell if any of these spots are actually bugs or if they're just fungal rot or fungal spots. Nah, I just, like, that's, one of the downsides of growing catasetums for me is I just want to look down in there and see. Like, look. Hey, what's that? You really gotta watch and be careful with catasetums, bringing them back in. I mean, really, that's with any plant, but man, there's just so many little crevices and places for bugs to hide, and it's still looking good. The pseudobulb is actually quite decent, even though it's kind of chewed up. Whatever. Not gonna bloom for us this year. If you want to see us building these little grow cabinet things that we have here, they were pretty cheap, but they seem to be helping. Check out this video right here. Check out this video here. Yeah. Hope you're having a good one. See you back here at El Pilar soon.